Hi, it's Stephanie. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about stress, something we've all experienced at least a time or two in our life, right? You know, so many things can stress you out if you let it, which is the operative word. You choose how you deal with stress. You don't choose, you can't choose, and you don't have any effect on the things that happen in life that stress you out, but you do have um, you do have a choice on how you react to it, which is really important for us to understand because you know stress is like almost how you react to stress is almost like a domino effect in life because you can have something happen to you, um, and if you react rather than deal with the situation, a lot of times it produces or causes a worse effect than, you know, actually dealing with it and trying to resolve it, right? So, one of the things I shared in my blog was, a situation that I had dealt with in my life. I worked for a company for a couple of years and I was doing really good. Like um, they had this system where every quarter you were basically graded on your performance, which ranged from many things. It ranged from your call stats, if you came to work on time, um, a lot of things. So even though I was not perhaps maybe the perfect employee, because truth be told, I was young. I think I was about think when I started with them, I was about 25, I want to say, or 26, going on 26, or just turning 26, something like that. And, I was going through some things in my own life. Um, I still had some growing to do because even, in our 20s, just like everybody else, we all feel like we're grown and we know it all. Um, and some of us tend to be really intelligent, but we still make mistakes and we're still learning. Like even now, at 34 years old, I'm still learning. Like it's a constant, um, life teaches many lessons, right? And it doesn't stop just because, we get a little bit, we grow, or it doesn't stop at each birthday or at a particular birthday. It just keeps going. So I worked for this company, and when I first started with them, I have to say that previous to my thought process, my mindset prior to coming into that company, um, there were a lot of things that I had really improved upon because I did, at that time I realized that attitude was a big factor of certain things that certain issues I had experienced in life. And when I came into that job, I knew I had to have a different attitude. And this was like, this was kind of one of those jobs. It was like you really wanted. They had great benefits, great little perks. I mean, they fed everybody free lunch. I mean, it was pretty cool. So, and I had tried for a while to get that job. So once I got it, I was like, I'm gonna keep this job. Even though now I have a different view over jobs. Um, back then that's what I wanted, and I got it. So when I came in, um, right in training, like right towards the end of my training, I decided I was gonna go, kind of, because they had already told us, what teams we would be assigned to and who would be our managers and stuff like that. So I took it upon myself to be outgoing and go meet, the people that I was gonna work with day to day, and introduce myself because I thought that that was, the proper thing to do. Well, one of one of the people that I was going to be working with, which, if I remember correctly at the time, she was a QA. Basically, she did quality assurance on your calls. And the way that they had it set up is you were assigned to so many people. So, everybody had went and introduced myself, and everybody was like really cool. And, it was kind of like, wow, she came and, introduced herself. It was different, but pretty cool. Well, when it came to her, it was like right off the bat, she didn't like me, and I have to admit, based on her reaction towards me, um, Give me a few minutes, okay? Sorry, guys. Based on her reaction to me, towards me, I determined that at that point I didn't like her neither because I was just like, what is this woman's problem? So, I didn't really have to work with her too much. When she QA'd my calls, I took the advice, from her, and tried to implement that on my calls because that's just the type of person I am. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my pride into it and do it right. So, she would nitpick about little things and it was just like, okay, whatever. And then my managers, from the time I started, I had, three supervisors before she came along. And, none of them had any issues with me and they weren't supervisors that had left and gone off. Like one decided that he wanted to resign and go off and do something else. And then, another one, he had been think he had been moved over to another team. And then the third one, once he got promoted, they actually promoted this particular individual that didn't like me into my boss at the time's, into his position. But, my bosses, I never had any issues. I can't say that I was perfect and they had to critique me because there were things they had to critique me on. However, um, I never experienced anything like her, and some people will say, when it comes to females, it's a little bit harder because, we tend to judge for whatever reasons, or some women are like, rare, I don't like you cause whatever, and me, I'm just that kind of person that I friend everybody. I do. I was a tomboy growing up, so my favorite type of movies are action movies. So of course, I do fall in line with guys, and I tend to have a lot of guy friends. I have brothers, you know, but and crap, I have four boys. So I mean, yeah, but nevertheless, um, I don't say, I don't like her over there because I'm not like that. That's just not my attitude. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt and that's the way that it should be. So, long story short, at the end of the day, I worked with this individual and they caused so much, there was just so much stress and tension between us every day for almost a year. Once she became in that position, it was a constant struggle with her. It was, you did this, you should have did it this way. It wasn't like, well, let's take a look at this and figure out, this is what you did. Maybe if you would have done it like this, it would have produced a different result. Like that's really what coaching is about, right? It wasn't like that. It was just kind of like how I felt then. It was an attack session on Stephanie. She would send me nasty emails and it was just, it became very daunting. It was exhausting. And at the particular time of dealing with that, I also had my own issues at home. So to be honest, I spend a lot of days at happy hour because it was a lot of stress. I had a lot of migraines. I was just going through a lot of things. I mean, I was having migraines to the point where they would last, at least 2 to 3 weeks throughout the month. They would be, almost 4 or 5 days. I mean, it was just crazy. And, you know, I never thought about it then, how stress was, how it was taking a toll on me. Um, I never looked at it as a whole aspect. Like it was my health, it was the way that I looked at things. I just had a nasty attitude after a while. It was just like, I remember being in the gas station and, um, during this time, and this man said something to me, and let me tell you, I went off on him. I'm talking about, there was more F's in my sentence than normal words. I mean, I really went off on him, and it was just, that was just how my life was going. It was kind of like a spiraling down effect because this is what I was getting up every day to deal with at the top of my day. And for me, when I was young, I just, and I still have that attitude, but I just understand now that there's a different way to deal with things. But I had this attitude where I had to fight back because nobody puts baby in the corner, right? That's the kind of attitude that I had, was like, don't try me. So going to work every day, instead of trying to work it out with her, whether or not that could have been possible, depending upon her, I could have at least tried, and I didn't. Rather so, I wanted to prove a point. So I wanted to fight back, and I wanted to I was just like, you know what I'm saying? She ain't gonna try me because I'm gonna deal with this. And, it was just like that. And really, it was just not good on me. So what brought me to this today is I really wanted to take a look at, in thinking about that experience, I wanted to take a look at, how does stress really affect us? So I wrote a really compelling article on how stress affects your health. And I think that it is worth taking a look at, um, because people don't realize, how much we engage in entertaining stress factors. People don't realize, that sometimes you have to deal with things differently. It doesn't have to be for the benefit of that person. It doesn't have to be to kiss nobody's ass. It's for the benefit of you and your health, and that's what's most important. So there will be a link down below for you to take a look at my blog and join my Facebook. Leave me your comments on the video. Share maybe some things that you've dealt with in stress and how you kind of handled it. And, maybe if you're stressed out and you don't know how to handle it, just share some information with me. I love to hear everyone's comments. And until next time, have an awesome, blessed day. Talk to you later.